Welcome, my name is Tushar and this is StarMade. Last time we left off with our small station design, this one, and we just completed basically all the exterior, added the docking area for the worker bees and parked some worker bees in there. So this episode I mainly want to concentrate on the interior and adding all the systems and additional features that this station needs, because it's far from complete. And we're still constrained by the rules I set myself, so 51 by 51 by 51, roleplay orientated, and it has a science theme. So those are the three main rules I'm following here. So I think I'll start off with adding probably the floor below here, this dark area, and then continue from there with the interior. It's still a bit messy inside, but as you can see, I did change a bit. We still got the large window area that you can look out of from this floor, but I closed it off for basically a quarter of the area. And this is the area where the additional part of the station is floating anyway, so you can't see outside the window. So it doesn't really serve a purpose to have a window there. And this gives me the chance to add a way to get down to the floor below. So I went with a ramp design in this case. Then we get into this area over here without windows, of course. But this is probably going to be the area where all the factories and storage and things like that are set up. So they don't really need any windows at all. So I'm pretty much decided to make this the main work, living, science lab area thing, and then below the area for the necessities. And then we still have space. Let's see if you can show that. It's a bit dark. As you can see here, these are the worker bees stored in this area, and next to it, it's a bit of light, is a whole area for systems. So we still need that for probably factories. And then in here, we'll probably go to put the power and the shield regen, things like that. Did a bit of work on this area as far as greenery goes. I think I showed it before, but still need to place some plants in here to make it a bit more lively. And I still need to finish this tree, but it's for later, I think. For now, I need to get this station operational. I changed the layout around a bit, at least as far as this elevator goes, because I had these rib-like things around it at first, but didn't really like it. So I kept it nice and clean. And then I experimented a bit with the lighting here for this ramp down here. And I tried to see if I could get a layout going in this area. I'm probably going for two areas. This area over here will probably be the main storage of the station. So there should be plenty enough space to store some stuff. And then this area for my machinery in factories and things like that. But it isn't really working out as far as counting the blocks goes, because I think this ramp is too narrow now. I'll probably make it 3 wide instead of the 2 I have now. But I have to move over a couple of things. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet. Also added some basic systems, not all that interesting, but basically in here, very dark, but power and mass enhancers, things like that. So that's the the station can actually function and defend itself. I actually connected the two parts of the station now. So we've got some armor blocks connecting them, so it doesn't really float out into space away from the main station. It's not really what we want. Not that it does, of course, but yeah, it's roleplay anyway. I also changed this ramp to be 3 wide now, like this. It feels a lot better now. And added in the walls for this lower area. So now we've got a nice area over here for storage and a nice area over here where I already placed some factories. So I'm going for a dual factory setup, 2 basics, 2 standard, 2 advanced, and then the top row will be 100 items per tick, and then the lower parts will be 10 items per tick. I should have enough space for factory enhancers to make that work. And then of course the refineries as well. I'm thinking of placing them on the side over here and then the factories in the middle. Something like that. And let's see if I can show that. It's not really visible. But as you can see here, I'm already inside system blocks, but the factory enhancers are in here now. Just need to connect them up to the factories. And that way I know as well how much power they will need. Well, this is a new addition to the station. While I was working on the interior, I didn't really have a good spot for living quarters. And although this is not really a station that you would live at, well, sort of, you would live here as a scientist, but yeah, its main purpose is science. I decided to add a additional module to this is the second airlock, and I think this was quite clever of me, because let's go up, and I think it was this one, yeah, this one. As you can see over here, this is a separate docked entity, and because this is separate docked to the station, you can also use this as a escape module. So this will be a living quarters module, so we need to add some facilities and beds in here, but also adopt as the escape module. So you can also move it to the other side of the station, but this airlock will just keep as the regular airlock for ships to dock. And this one is basically permanently in use for this module. So that leaves all the space on this deck for sciencey things. So in the middle I will be adding some sort of computer core, I think, and then all types of sciencey things around it that can be used for experiments and whatnot. And then downstairs I didn't do a whole lot, but just adding some of the blocks up top for this storage area. Speaking of storage, here we go. A whole bunch of storage blocks. I did add some, well, yeah, cargo that isn't really cargo in here, just to make it look like there's something here. Because as you know, in astronaut mode you can't really see the storage blocks. Not at least if you don't select this storage unit. And it will only be visible once you put stuff inside. So if the station is empty as far as storage goes, then yeah, this room feels a lot emptier as well. So that's why I added the fake cargo in here. But yeah, I think it is enough space to get going. On the other storage area, or basically we can call it the basement area now, I added some stuff as well. Just soft in a teleporter here in the corner, so you can teleport in cargo if you want, or yourself of course. Then the factory setup over here, and I did include the refineries on the left over here. Didn't really work out in the corner as I intended. Some tanks and some other cargo going on. Still need to add some additional detailing with piping, I think, and some detailing in the floor to make it work. But as far as layout in interior goes, this is about 90% done, I think. So we can basically move on to the upper parts of the station. So this area and the biodome on top of this. I added a whole bunch of additional interior and I had a lot of fun with doing it. I completed the tree. You can see it through the glass somewhat because of the transparency bug. You not always be able to see it all that well, but in this case on these angles you do. Let's move inside. As you can see here, it has leaves now. So basically this biodome is complete. Added in all the additional plants I wanted. So this is a nice relaxing area. In addition, I also added in the interior for the escape and living module. So we've got a shower and toilet stall, some beds, and then of course a simple cockpit design, so you can fly off this module into space. And then if you move down through the elevator over here, you can see I already started adding all kinds of sciencey interior design elements. So I've got the computer core in the middle here, all kinds of control areas, and then we've got additional setups for engineering, computing. This is the bioanalysis machine I used on my previous projects as well. Some chemicals, some additional storage. Well, it's a bit messy but organized. That's the theme I'm going for. So every area of this room has its own theme as far as science goes, but it's all haphazardly placed and looks a bit messy. And done. So I added in all the elements I wanted here. So we've got our workbench and our metal press. Then we've got our thing that shoots lasers at everything. There we go. And we've got a desk with a magnifying glass for all the small work we need to do. Then we've got our AI simulation computer. At least that's what it's supposed to be. Some other computer stuff and a desk with an actual desktop computer. But yeah, apparently I don't use it for that. And a medical area, well, you can use it as a medical area, but you can do some experiments as well. I do know that there are a number of cyborgs wandering this universe, so if you want to work on implants, this is the area for you. Already showed the bioanalyzers and the chemicals. So I think this is complete. I did add an additional control here in the middle in the computer core for the door over here where the worker bees are stored. That's probably the last thing I want to change because they fit within this area but just barely. If you want to fly it out, then you have a high chance of bumping into the sides over here, and then yeah, you get all kinds of collisions and that's not really fun. So I want to add a rail system to it to shoot out the drones, the worker bees, so you don't have to do that manually. But I can't do that if I have this plex store in the way, because plex stores and rail blocks don't mix. So I need to find a way to get them, the doors at least, physical doors in there. That's probably open downwards, I think, and then I can add the rails and all kinds of controls to shoot them out of the docking area. And done. So I added in physical doors now, and you can open them like this. And I reduced the drone complements to just the one worker bee. It fits better and it looks better as well, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, shooting it out of the docking area can only be done from the central computer core. So I will show you that in a second. But as far as the door are concerned, they work out just fine. As you can see here. This doesn't count for the size constraints I'm going for, as far as I'm concerned. It's just pickup rails, so it's still 49 high. So let's hop out of the build block over here and grab some gravity. As you can see over here, I added two controls to it. The door control over here that will open or close the door, and then a button for a launching mechanism that doesn't work if the doors are not open. So let's open the doors again, and then launch the drone. As you can see, it's launching, and then when it's done, it turns off again. So if you go into build mode, you can see the drone is gone, and it's all the way down there. It would be nice if you could use fleet mechanics to redock it again, but that's not possible at the moment. But perhaps in the future. But yeah, this is the station, as far as I'm concerned, entirely complete. Let's do a quick walkthrough again in astronaut mode. As you can see here, our lab area. Then we've got downstairs. We added in the additional details for the floor. And some detailing over here. And as you can see, now you can actually see that this is an empty area. At least there's no storage going on. And then we can continue up to the biodome. It's the last part. It's the habitat module. So here we go. We go up to the biodome. Here we are. Nice and green. And we can go here to the living area. Like this. Then if we enter it, let's grab some interface. We can undock it and fly away from the station. So as you can see, escape module works. Well, that's about it as far as this station design goes. It's pretty much complete. Perhaps I'll tweak some additional detailing, but yeah, there's not a lot to do anymore, I think. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and this build. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.